my name is Widia Damayanti. I'm here for the remedial task of syntax. Part 1. Part 1, the first things is we study about what is surface structure. Surface structure is the actual syntactic form of a sentence that is derived from a deep structure. It represents the final syntactic form that we see or hear in a sentence. After all, transformation have been applied. Surface structure refers to the final syntactic form a sentence as it appears in speech or writing. It is derived from the deep structure through various grammatical transformations. The deep structure represents the core meaning of a sentence, while the surface structure shows how that meaning is expressed in specific syntactic arrangement. In transformational generative grammar, a theory developed by Noam Chomsky, sentences are to have two levels of structure, deep structure and surface structure. The deep structure or underlying structure refers to abstract representations of sentence that capture its core semantic relation and meaning. Deep structure is the basic grammar of sentence before any change are made to its word order or grammar. It represents the core idea that stays the same even the sentence is rewritten in different ways. For example, she ate the cake and the cake was eaten by her have the same deep structure because they share the same meaning. However, their surface structure are different. And about the surface structure. Surface structure is the outward of a sentence, the way it actually spoken and or written. It is generated from the deep structure through a series of transformational rules or process. These rules include movements, deletions, insertions, and substitutions that modify the deep structure to produce the final syntactic form. Surface structure reflect the final arrangement of word, phrase, and their appear in sentence. So, surface structure is the final form of a sentence that we see and we hear after the grammatical rules are applied. It determines the sentence word and structure. For example, the boy kicked the ball and the ball was kicked by the boy. Have different surface structure but the same deep meaning. Surface structure explains why sentences with the same meaning can look different. It is important in linguistics because it helps us understand how language is formed and processed in communication. To understand surface structure better, let's look at a few examples and look surface structure can vary even when the underlying meaning or deep structure remains the same. Here's the example 1. Active and passive voice. Deep structure, the core idea of dog chasing a cat. Surface structure, active voice, the dog chases the cat. Surface structure, passive voice, the cat is chased by dog. It has same meaning but in different ways. So, let's see the second example. Example 2. Relative clauses. Deep structure, the idea of a book that John read. Surface structure, in the simple sentence, John read a book. Surface structure with relative clauses. The book that John read was interesting. The relative clause that John read is added to the sentence, changing its surface structure to provide more information about the book. So, it's explained to us if book that read by John is so interesting. Then, this why there is a surface structure. Deep structure, according to Noam Chomsky, is the basic underlying form of a sentence that shows the main meaning. Is it the way words are organized before any change are made to create the final sentence we see or hear, called the surface structure. Deep structure helps us to understand how different parts of sentence are related to each other. It's important in Chomsky's theory how sentences are formed. Deep structure, according to Noam Chomsky, is underlying form from a sentence that represents its core meaning before any transformations occur. It shows how words and ideas are organized at a fundamental level without change in word order or grammar. For example, the cat chased by the mouse and the mouse was chased by the cat have the same deep structure because they share the same meaning. They differ in surface structure due to transformation like active and passive voice. Chomsky introduced deep structure as part of his theory of transformational grammar, which explains how sentences are generated and understood. Deep structure helps show the relationship between words and phrases before they are rearranged into their final form. By analyzing deep structure, linguistics can study how different language form sentence and how people process the language. This concept is crucial in understanding syntax, meaning, and sentence relationships. Next, we talk about types of grammatical relations. There's three sections or three things about it. The first one is subject-verb relations. The second one is object-verb relations. And the last one is agreement relations. So, I will explain about subject-verb relations. The subject is the noun or pronoun that perform the action of the verb. Example in the dog barked. The dog is subject. Subject-verb relation refers to the connection between the subject and the verb in a sentence. The subject is noun or pronoun that perform the actions while the verb express the actions or the states. Like the dog barks. The dog is noun and the bark is verb. And we must know the verb must agree with the subject in number, singular, plural, or person like first, second, or third person. In some cases, word order helps stabilize the subject-verb relations, especially in English, where subjects usually come before verbs. Understanding these relations is important for constructing grammatical correct sentence and using clarity in communication. So, next, object-verb relations. The object specifies the action of the verb. Object can be direct or indirect. Direct object, the noun or pronoun directly affect the verb. Example, in she reads the book. The book is direct object. Indirect object, the noun or pronoun that indirectly receive the actions, usually indicating who, to whom, or for whom the action is done. Example, he gave her a gift. Her is the indirect object. So we can easily understand about object-verb relations. The object-verb relations is there two types. The first one direct object, the second one is indirect object. Direct object, like we do something directly without the third person or the third thing. The indirect object usually use the second person or the third thing. Like the example here, he gave her a gift. Her is indirect object because he gave a gift. The gift given to her, and it seems like you indirectly give some pronouns to the second person. And the last one is agreement relations. Refers to the grammatical agreements between subject and verb or between nouns and adjective, often concerning number, gender, or case. Example, the cats are sleeping. Cats, the plural subject, and the cats agree using the plural verb are. Are is a verb for plural things, and cats the plural things that means for are. The next one is about structure dependence. Structure dependence means that the rules of grammar in sentence depends on how the words are organized in groups, not just on order they appear. This means that the way words are connected to each other is more important for understanding the sentence than the other words themselves. Structure dependence means that grammar rules rely on how words see or are grouped, not just their order. Instead of simply following word sequences. Sentence structure is based on relationship between phrase and clauses. For example, in the question, is the boy who is running fast happy? The verb is moved to the in front of when forming a yes or no questions. However, it does not move randomly. It moves based on the sentence structure. So, is you can put it on the first word, the first structure or sentence, because it based on the sentence structure, not like randomly just put it on the first. Because grammar follows structure, not just word order. So it's happen when you want to ask about yes or no question, and the is, are, am is putly in the first sentence. Like this, some example of structure dependence. The cat that chases the dog is running. The structure shows that the cat is the subject, and the chased by the dog describe which cat. The dog that chased the cat is running. In this case, the dog is the subject, and that cast the cat describe which dog. Even though the word cat and dog are different order in each sentence, that meaning change based on how they are grouped and connected. The structure of the sentence help us understand who is doing the actions. It means the first word is about the cat that chased by the dog is running. The cat chased the dog is running. Who is the running? Is the cat, because the cat chased by the dog. And in the second sentence, the dog that chased the cat is running. So in this case, the dog is the subject. When we ask who is the running, the running is the dog, not the cat. Thank you. The next one is about subject auxiliary inversions. Subject auxiliary inversions when the order of the subject and the auxiliary verb helping verbs change in a sentence. This usually happen in questions and some conditional sentence. For example, in a question, is she coming? The auxiliary verb is come before the subject she. Why the auxiliary verb is because she is following noun, and the verb you should is because it's single. And the second one, in conditional sentence, where are you? I would accept the over. The auxiliary verb were comes before the subject I. Why were? Because were is should auxiliary verb for I. If I change it into was, it should for he, she, or it. Those are the example in different contexts. Questions. Yes or no questions. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are is the verb for you. If we make it by she, so we should use is. So, is she ready? And where have questions. Where have you been? Where have you been? Where have? Have is should use for you. And if that is the third person, you can use has. Where has she been? She been. Negative sentence. Hadn't they finished their work? Hadn't they finished their work? Had not is really used for they. And isn't she coming to the party? Is. We have talked about it. Is used for she. Conditional sentence. Were I in your shoes, I would take that job. Where? Had I known about the meeting, I would have attended. Had I known. We had talked about it in the second word, in the second options. Okay, next we move to the last subject we talk in part 1. It's about relative clauses. Relative clauses is a type of dependent clauses that provides additional information about noun or pronoun in the main clause of sentence. It functions as an adjective describing or identifying the nouns. Relative clause typically begin with relative pronouns such as who, whom, whose, which or that. For example, in the sentence, the book that I borrow on the table, the relative clause is that I borrow. Give more of information about the book. A relative clause is dependent clause that add information about noun or pronoun in the main clause. It acts like an adjective, helping to describe or identify the noun more specifically. A relative clause usually begin with relative pronouns, such as who, whom, which, or that. So, we talk about relative pronouns. Who. The first one is who. Usage refers to people. Example, the teacher who taught me about retiring is retiring. Explanation, who introduce a relative clause that describe or identify a person. Who is identify a person. And the second one is whom. Usage refers to people. Used as the object of a verb or prepositions. Example, the student whom I help pass the exam. Explanation, whom is used when the person being referred to is the object of actions. The second one is relative pronouns. Whose. Usage indicate possessions, can refer to people, animal, or things. Whose is like more public or more usual. You can use it for people, animal, or things. Example, the man whose car was stolen report it to the police. Explanation, who introduced a clause that provides information about ownership or possessions. In this word, the man whose car. Why it was? Because it refers to people, animal, or thing, and the man is people. And the second one is which. You said this is more special or more like just refers to animal and things, and sometimes to group or concepts. Like we can use it for people or the first person, because is usage refers because it refers to animals and things. Example, the book which I read was fascinating. Which introduce a clause that provides additional information about something non-human. Like we can use it for to give more information about things we read, we eat, or we talking about to people who heard our conversations. And the last one about relative pronoun. That usage can refer to people, animal, or thing in defining relative clauses. Example, the movie that we watched last night was amazing. That is used to introduce a relative clauses that is necessary to identify the noun it modifies. So, that we can use it for people, animal, or thing because it's defining everything. You can use it for explain about the noun has modifies, like the sentence I have give the movie that we watched last night was amazing. What was amazing you watched? So the answer is the movie, because that is used for the movie. So we finished the part 1. We will move to the part 2, diagram. So the first sentence is the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. I will give you the sentence breakdown. The first one is noun phrase. Here, the is determined, quick is adjective, brown is adjective, fox is noun. And the verb phrase, it's the first one, jumps, is verb. Over is determined. And we move to the verb phrase. Jumps is the verb, and the phrase over is the determined, and it's noun phrase. Noun phrase is the lazy dog, and the is determined, lazy is adjective, and dog is a noun. In deep structure, everything is laid out simply. Subject, who is doing the action? Of course, the action is the fox. Verb, what action is happening? The answer is jumps. Object or target, who or what is affected by the actions? The answer is the dog. Modifiers, additional detail, quick, or like we give some more information about it: quick, brown, lazy, and over. And we usually use it by adjective. This deep structure is often transformed into a more complex surface structure, which is what we usually see and speak, where everything is combined into one smooth sentence. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So, let's move to the second sentence. The second sentence is the girl wearing a red dress is dancing. So, the sentence is make it two things. The first one is noun phrase. The determined is the noun is the girl. And chepe, or the relative clause, who is wearing a red dress? Who is the introduce the relative clauses. And is verb. So a verb and the verb phrase. The verb phrase is verb is wearing, and the noun phrase is a red dress. For determine, red for adjective, noun, a dress for noun. So the verb phrase or the second things is dancing. Verb is dancing. Verb. Verb is verb. Dancing is verb. In the deep structure, the main subject is the girl, which is a noun phrase consisting of the determiner, the, and the noun of girl. The main action is described by the verb phrase is dancing. Where is the auxiliary verb, and dancing is the main verb. The relative clauses, who is wearing a red dress, give more information about subject girl, who refers back to the girl, and introduce the relative clauses. Is wearing is the verb phrase within the relative clauses, describing what the girl is doing. And a red dress is another noun phrase within the relative clauses, with a the determiner red as an adjective and dress as the noun. In essence, the deep structure reveals that the sentence is fundamentally about a girl who has specific characteristic or action, and is the specific characteristic is wearing a red dress, and this girl is performing the main action or the dancing. Next, we move to the third sentence. Stefano saw the Hezekiel with the telescope. The sentence breakdown. The noun phrase, of course, Stefano. So, the verb phrase, saw, such verb, and its noun phrase, the determined is the, and the noun is Ezekiel. So, the prepositional phrase is with, the determined is with, noun phrase is determined of the, and noun is telescope. The three diagram break the sentence into its core component. Stefano is the subject of the sentence, saw is the verb, and the Ezekiel with the telescope is the object phrase. Within that object phrase, the Ezekiel is the noun phrase directly receiving the actions, while with the telescope is prepositional phrase providing additional detail about the action was performed. So, we move to the fourth sentence. She believed that the earth is round. Let's break down the sentence. Sentence is make it two diagram. The first one is noun phrase. The subject is she, or the noun is she. So the verb phrase, the verb is believe, and it's make it a diagram to the complementizer phrase that the earth is round functions as the complement of belief, and complementizer that introduce the complement clauses. The noun phrase is the earth. Within the complement clauses, verb phrase is round. Within the complement clauses, the determined is the, in the earth. The earth verb is in the complement clauses, and the adjective is round is the complement clauses. This three diagram breaks down the sentence into its core components: the subject, she performed the actions of believing, and the complement clauses that the earth is round explain what she believed. The main verb phrase, believes, connect to complementizer phrase that the earth is round. The complementizer that introduce the embedded sentence. Within this embedded sentence, the earth is round. This earth acts as the subject noun phrase and is round at the verb phrase, with is as the verb and round is the adjective. So we move to the last sentence. The house where I grew up has been demolished. The article of the determiner holds as noun or subject, and the subject has noun phrase and a noun phrase. Of course, it's been determined noun and adjective noun. The house where I, and the verb phrase is verb, grew up, verb and adjective. The last one is verb. It's verb, verb, verb. Has been demolished. In this diagram, the house is the main subject, or the noun. Has been demolished from the main verb phrase. Where I grew up is a relative clause modifying house. Where is the relative pronoun introducing the clause. EI is the subject of the relative clause and grew is the verb within the relative clause. This breakdown and diagram illustrate how each part of speech functions within the sentence. The house where within the sentence, the house where I grew up has been demolished. So, I have explained about the part 1 and the part 2 for this remedial task. And I apologize if there's some mistake for me, or there's some a wrong spell of the word, because I'm so sorry. I have a really bad pronunciation of English, but I promise I will study about it, and I will study it long day until I die, maybe, for to improve my pronunciation. Maybe just this enough from me. Goodbye.